new era dawns to fill the void. An unfamiliar path with a pulse of its own.
3, 2, 1.
Final Encountercast. Interesting conflicts, not conflicts of interest.
Typical corporate bullshit.
With your hosts, Nate, Robbie, Chris, Nika, and Callie. FinalEncountercast.com.
Ready? Get set? Go!
What's up? Welcome to Final Encountercast. Thanks for joining us. Twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio, part of the Let's Be Real podcast network. Happy to have you along. Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
1 p.m.
You're welcome.
1 p.m. starts us here at Final Encountercast. And we are in the last 5 episodes of this show before it becomes the Let's Be Real podcast. And
we burn everything to the ground and start over.
Really kind of concerned because I haven't heard from Zemless in a minute.
Zemless.
Waiting on this LBR network site to go live.
When was the last time you heard from him? Because a few weeks ago he was trying to get me to play some Overwatch with him.
Yeah. You were saying that he was coming to you with Overwatch thirst.
He's bad.
That's what we're going to call it, Overwatch.
That's exactly what it is, yeah.
If you want to get back into the good category, though, Zemless, it's real easy to do that. You just have to finish making this website for us.
It's not that big a deal. Just make a website.
I know, right?
Come on.
It's what you do. Anyway, thanks for joining us, Twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. It is just the three of us and Cake. You're back. That's now
Cake. Why is it cake?
Why do you sound weird?
It's because I still have coffeeness.
You have coffee?
Coffee.
Where's the coffee? I want coffee.
There's a coffee up right now. Look, coffee. It's coughing.
Boo.
Yeah.
Boo. Are you all right? You had to miss the last episode because you and your entire brood had the flu.
Yeah. It was
so
really
you
bad.
decided to come here and spread it to the rest of us.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I'm gonna contaminate this microphone so nobody else will use it.
You should have milked that for longer. Nika's not here today because she's sick. Oh, guys, I got a scratchy throat.
Scratchy throat. Oh no.
Yeah, Nika is now sick with the flu, apparently.
Allegedly.
Dude, this flu is bad.
Well, you know why? It's because there's 2 different strains of flu.
Yeah.
I got a flu shot, and it was the wrong flu shot, so...
Well, that's... And
those are the headlines that we've been seeing, that the shots are the ones to blame for the flu going around.
Yeah. It's that there's like a shot-resistant strain, right? Like there's one that is not impacted by the flu shot.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can actually get both flus.
I did, yeah.
If you get both flus, then you should probably just kill yourself.
Double trouble.
Oh, boy. I didn't get a flu shot, so I'm really rolling the dice.
I did this year for the first time ever, but been good so far, knock on wood.
That's not real wood.
Shit.
There's no real wood in here.
There's some wood in here.
Jesus Christ.
Come knock on.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Did you miss my penis joke?
No, not at all. And your poor camera framing.
Poor camera framing.
You're like off to the side.
How about that? I can't tell because there's a delay. All right. So
yeah.
Does
this help? Does the full screen help?
No.
I mean, it's not doing anything for the audience, but I mean, does it help you at all?
No. See, when you make it full camera, it still doesn't help the delay because full camera is not delay.
It just adds another 20 pounds.
That's a lot of weight.
It's a lot.
I mean,
just in his face. Imagine if it was like a full body shot.
Anyway,
I think there's a pun in there with weight.
Is there?
I think there is, but I couldn't get there.
Oh my god. Already, you're back. You're back. Not even 10 minutes on the show, and already
3 minutes.
You're bringing it back. You're bringing it to a grinding halt.
I'm almost proud.
No, I'm not.
I am.
Are you ready to run phones?
It shouldn't be that hard.
Because we want to hear from you. Final Encountercast on Skype, 810-207-1764. You can also call in on Discord, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. We would put a finalencountercast.com/Discord URL up but there's no point. That site shouldn't be up for much longer. So
burn it to the ground.
That's right. We're gonna douse this bitch in gasoline, light a match, and walk away.
Yeah, but for real, call us about literally anything, so long as it pertains to gaming and nerd stuff. No, you know what? Fuck it. Just call us about anything. Literally anything.
That's
Surprise
right.
us.
We're going to talk about trash talk today because this XQC,
who is literal trash,
asshole, has kind of I don't know. Like I'm curious what where's people's line for trash talk? That's what I want to know.
All over the fucking place, because I actually have a conversation
totally.
I'm going to mention with a friend of mine that blew my fucking mind.
Oh my god, that blows my mind.
Shut up.
You have a friend?
Keep him full frame. We all love cake.
From Cake Lover.
Thank you, Cake Lover. Appreciate it. We are going to keep him full frame.
Oh, good. That way I don't have to worry about doing
by
anything.
request.
What was that, $10?
That was, yeah.
Obviously.
So,
yeah.
For like the next few minutes, you're going to get a whole...
Did you even try?
You're going to get a whole face full of cake. Anyway,
You know, I forgot to shave today. So,
that's what he forgot to do.
Yeah. Oh, really? That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Anyway... Line up your calls. Final Encounter Cast on Skype, 810-207-1764, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. And by the way, speaking of Discord, go ahead and just, feel free to hang out in our Discord channel. I'm almost kind of sad the amount of non-chat that happens in those chat rooms sometimes. I feel very alone in my Pokemon channel.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, the Overwatch chat has been hopping.
Overwatch chat has been good.
Do you want us to contact Ryuichi and have him talk to you in
It's fine. No.
I got it. I'm going to send him a message
No. You can also join us in the Let's Be Real channel. That's sort of like, you can talk about whatever. A lot of people have been talking about politics, but...
So long as you're real.
That's sort of like our new catch-all channel, right? Limit Break Radio is for discussing Final Fantasy 14 or Final Fantasy related stuff.
That's probably safe, yeah.
We've also got a new music channel where you can talk about music and link some of your favorite videos and a lot of other cool stuff. So if you want, hang out with us in Discord. That's limitbreakradio.com/Discord. That's the easiest way to find it. So feel free to do that. And as we had mentioned, we are working on getting the Let's Be Real network up and running. The website is still under construction, and it's going to be a place where you can find all of the content related to the Let's Be Real network, including all the full archive of this show is going to be available. We'll also have full archives of the of Limit Break Radio and all of the various spin-off shows that have been related to Limit Break Radio. We'll have episodes of Refresh eventually available. Because it's content that we've made through the network over time. So it's going to be a place to house all of our content long term.
People liked Refresh.
Apparently, yeah.
There was that one guy that even now he wakes up in the middle of the night in cold sweats wondering when Nate's going to bring back Refresh.
I do get questions about it, which is weird.
If you ever did, would you call it Refresh?
Nope.
Aw.
Sure wouldn't.
Emphasis on Riri.
All right. I think that's enough of cake. I think we've had enough cake.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You can have your cake and eat it too.
Ugh.
If you're hot.
Gross.
Oh.
What was... Were you trying to, purr or do, a meow?
Hang on.
Hang on.
Do that again.
No.
Do it again. No. Do it again.
Oh.
Oh, my God.
I just wanted to make sure that everyone...
Got the visual?
The tongue thing.
With the tongue.
Gross.
That's really not okay.
Don't ever do that again.
Please don't. Please don't.
Swing!
Stop it.
Stop!
Ugh.
It's literally making me gag.
Ugh. It's
gross. Anyway, so line up your calls. We want to hear from you. Let's check out what's going on in the news.
I'm here to do the news tonight.
And that's the way the news goes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt this program to bring you important news.
Here's a story that's out of this world.
As Microsoft tries to remain as relevant in the gaming discussion as possible, they've made an interesting move surrounding their GamePass subscription service. Like many Netflix-esque subscription services, the problem has always been what's available on them. Xbox is now having games developed by Microsoft Studios available on Game Pass on release day. So games like Halo, Gears of War, and Forza will now be available immediately through the platform when they release.
I mean, what do you guys think it's going to take to get a platform like this off the ground? Because, I mean, like, okay, yeah, that's nice and all to have some Microsoft exclusives, but unless you're, like, a really big, diehard fan of Microsoft Studios, I don't know that this moves the needle for you.
Well, the problem is, if you have a subscription-based service, you're going to want all games to be on there, right? But if all games are on there, there's no reason to ever go and buy physical games anymore. So I don't know that you can eat your cake and have it too in this case.
Cake, what do you think?
What is Game Pass? Is that just like
yeah? Think of it
like GameFly?
No, not exactly.
They don't send you the game; you just have access to it.
Yeah, it's the digital service. Sort of think like PlayStation Now, except for Xbox. That's the way that I
pretty much
understood it.
I mean, like, what's the price point on it?
It's a good question. That I actually don't know.
Neither do I.
Yeah. So,
well, I'm glad that you guys do your fucking research on this show as well.
Good research there, Robbie.
I'm just the reader. This is on Cali.
I'm just the reader. This is. I'm concerned now. I'm concerned for this show.
Well, what about you two?
What about us two?
Cake had an entire weekend he could have been preparing, but instead, what were you doing?
I posed the question, which you could not answer.
Oh, see, I thought maybe you had the answer for us. You were going to school us.
No, I posed the question, and then you, the informed reader of the news, would tell us.
Here's the problem. Nobody wants to do the stupid Game Pass, okay?
Shanny says it's $10. You could have just Googled it in the time that you took to argue.
On a phone? No, that's too hard.
See, this is why I tell you to have actual pieces of technology in front of you. But no one listens to Nate.
If I had the money for actual technology, I'd buy one.
We're a company. We're a company. We could invest in. Anyway, let's just.
All right. Well, this next bit is a little bit better.
God damn.
God of War's release date is official, and it will be debuting on April 20th this year. A new trailer dropped this week, and the game predictably looks gorgeous. In addition, a collector's edition was announced that includes a 9-inch tall statue of Kratos and Atreus.
How much is the collector's edition? See, I can ask vague questions too that don't really matter.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if it's not a 9.5-inch tall statue, then it kind of falls short in terms of other things that are long and presumably full of points.
Actually, you're the one that's sitting in front of computers. You should be the Googler of the group. I think. Yeah. Probably.
I mean, I usually do.
But you probably should.
The collector's edition is $130.
Since I asked the question, I feel like it would be weird for me to answer the question as well.
Well, I mean, if none of us can answer it, then you probably should go to.
I don't think it makes sense. See, that was really weird. Didn't make sense.
Well, not when you do it like that. But if you want to lord your superiority over us, you'd be like, do you guys have any idea how much the collector's edition was?
Yeah.
No? You don't?
Yeah.
Well, that's because I actually looked. It's $130.
There you go.
You idiots. That's how you answer your own question.
There you go. See? He knows how to do this.
Is that all you get? Is the statue?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a pretty bad collector's edition. I'm going to be honest, that's a really not good collector's edition. Do you even get a game with this anymore? Like, I don't even know what to expect with a fucking collector's edition.
You get a box with a download code in it.
You probably get a different looking box. It'll probably come with some because there's gonna be microtransactions in it now. That's standard nowadays. So maybe they'll give you a free XP token or something.
What's the square root of 93?
I'm bad at math.
I'm waiting, Juxta.
Oh, me?
Yeah. Come on, Cake.
I was looking at this little book that you get there.
See?
You get like a book, too.
Fucking random questions. Really good to throw out there for a radio show.
You said 93?
Never. Shut the fuck up.
Nate, though, do you plan on getting God of War? Shut up.
No.
You shut up. Did you play any of the other ones?
No.
No? Oh, all right.
I mean, I did. I think I played the PSP game.
Oh.
And I think maybe like one of the first two, but it was a series that I fell off on very quickly.
I did as well, but I don't know. I might try and get into this one. I think I'll wait and see what reviews say, or what people end up saying about it.
The thing is that the switch over to Norse mythology definitely piqued my interest.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know. I just don't know if I could hang through an entire God of War game. I feel like it would lose my interest about halfway.
That's what the first few did. I'm hoping that this has more of a focus on the narrative that'll keep me interested a little bit longer.
Okay.
PUBG Corp is sharing the wealth this year, announcing they'll be donating $2 million to various gaming charities over the year. This will include Extra Life, Gamers Outreach, and another campaign that has yet to be announced. The money comes from the sale of loot boxes at Gamescom last summer.
That's cool. That's totally awesome. We've been very involved with Extra Life. Mm-hmm. So it's awesome to see that, PUBG in sort of like a more official capacity is getting involved. Not uncommon, though. Like, developers have gotten involved with Extra Life efforts and Child's Play efforts in the past. So this is definitely a good look for the PUBG Corp, though.
Yeah, I think the thing that sort of hits me the most is that the whole $2 million came from loot box sales of a single event.
Wow.
Or during a single event?
Again, you just get an idea of what the margins are around loot boxes, and it's just insane.
Literally nothing.
Yeah, really, like the development on a baseball cap. What do you think that is? It's like an afternoon, right? Right?
Yeah.
Can't be much more than that.
No. That's insane. Laura Hunsucker had been playing Guild Wars games since 2005, and her copy of Guild Wars 2 Nightfall was one of the only survivors of a house fire that claimed the lives of her dogs and most of her possessions. After posting a tweet about the survived copy of the game, the developers sent her a swag bag containing signed copy of every game in the series, as well as $3,500. In addition, the publicity around the gift spread word enough for her to meet the $5,000 crowdfunding goal she'd set to get back on her feet. So good on you, ArenaNet.
That's pretty fucking awesome, I gotta say.
That is amazingly awesome, honestly.
I mean, didn't Bethesda do something similar to someone whose PC had died?
Yes, actually, a friend of Nika's. If you remember a few years back, I think they called her the Bethesda girl, who was basically screaming her lungs out at one of those conferences. That's her, and yeah, her PC died on her, and at, I think it was, not MagFest, but the one before that. I keep track of where the fuck she goes. But yeah, they basically showed up and were like, here's a free PC for you.
It's crazy.
It had a bow on it.
It did have a bow on it.
I mean, like honestly, like that's a really good look for developers of, really of any caliber. Mm-hmm. And first of all, to lose your dogs in a fire, and then, oh my god, dude, how devastating is that?
Yeah,
I couldn't even imagine.
I'm actually surprised that unless it stopped at the $5,000, but usually when something like this happens, like when the community comes together, they smash goals like that. I'm surprised that it was only $5,000 that was donated to her.
Right? Yeah, I would have thought that she would have been able to probably get a little bit more. Mm-hmm. But I mean, again, very good. Very good look for ArenaNet, and just nice to hear between PUBG and ArenaNet to hear about developers doing some, very good things.
Mm-hmm. So. Agreed. Former Sony and Xbox executive Phil Harrison has been signed onto a hardware unit at Google. The unit has been working on smartphone technology and mixed reality, leading some to believe that the signing may be an indication of Google trying to compete in augmented or virtual reality games. Either way, it looks like Google will be competitive in the gaming market in the future. I don't know if I agree with him using the word competitive. We don't know that for sure.
Well, I mean, what else is Microsoft doing for that area of the industry?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. You could actually ask, what is Microsoft doing for the gaming industry right now, period?
I
Nothing.
mean, that's, yeah.
4K compatibility that nobody cares about right now?
I mean, yeah. Like, there's really nothing that they're doing at the moment that is terribly compelling. I mean, in terms of added value when you buy a console, the Switch, obviously the added value is the fact that it's portable.
Yep.
The added value on the PlayStation 4, you've at least got the PSVR.
Mm-hmm.
What is it for the Xbox?
4K. That's it.
Native. Okay, so
native 4K.
Native 4K. Anything else?
And that's only if you get the newest Xbox One X, right? That's it. That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
You can play Xbox games on the PC. That's a good thing.
That's a feature. It's not.
So that just tells me that I should get a PC instead of an Xbox.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah,
that's exactly what it tells me.
But it is Microsoft doing something for the gaming community, making them not have to buy Xboxes.
Okay.
Thank you. We appreciate that, Microsoft. Thank you.
I mean, honestly, like, you know, I've heard reports about the HoloLens not being good at all.
Is that still a thing?
It is still a thing. I don't know what the fuck Microsoft is doing, because, like, have we kind of not reached peak graphics right now? Like, where do graphics go from here?
Honestly, I wish they'd stop going anywhere. Like I wish we could all agree that, yes, graphics are as good as they need to be. Let's focus on other stuff now.
Well, but I mean, like, graphics engines and the ability to display, you know, things on screen have now exceeded the point to where it takes more time to actually, like, place all of the little bits of random shit than it does to actually, like, make that's what a lot of time is spent on in development. Like, that's why procedural generation is such a big deal, because if you want to make an actually big game, right,
need to find a quicker way to do it.
Yes,
and you know what, that's what I feel like. If they're going to spend any extra money on something, do it on that, right? Wasn't it Kojima has some new engine that he basically just does like a 3D scan of something, and boom, it processes it, right?
Yes. Well, that was the Fox engine, which I don't think he has access to anymore. But whatever graphics engine he's working with now is I don't think it's a derivative of that even. I think it
might be the same thing that they, if I'm correct, it might be the same thing that they used for Horizon Zero Dawn.
And Heartslot in our chat saying that the next gen GPUs, they'll do more. I know they will, but to what end?
Is it worth it?
To what end? Like, why? You know what I mean? Like, if games even get more deep, like, I feel like in a game like PUBG, right? You can see for as far as the draw distance will allow you to, right? And you can see someone, pixels large, and you can see them moving fairly clearly, and most arms most limbs articulated. It's not a fucking blurry mess, right? Like, and PUBG isn't even the most graphically intense game. Do games even? I mean, like, why? Like, well, I feel like there's so much of an emphasis being put on making the game look great, and not enough emphasis on making the game play great.
Nate.
And so many variables that you can throw in to fuck it in, halfway through. Like, why? Like, what is even the fucking point?
I will tell you the point. Why don't you look at some of the best games that came out in the past year and tell me that graphics aren't important? Breath of the Wild, Persona 5, the Pokemon... Oh. Graphics aren't important, guys.
I mean, my favorite games that came out in 2017 were not the greatest looking games.
No.
In fact, I think some of the best looking games that came out were probably some of the more frustrating experiences that I had gaming.
Really?
Yeah.
Such as?
I mean, you're putting me on the spot to think of something, but FF15.
Ugh.
The first game that comes to mind. Looked fucking fantastic. Animated very well. Played like a sack of potatoes.
We just had a conversation before the show. Should you play it yet, or are they going to add more stuff to the game?
Honestly, like, I mean, I kind of want to try to finish it. There's always a part of me that, wants to try to push through it and get to the end. But yeah, like, I don't even know if it's fucking worth it anymore with the Royal Edition coming out.
I'm waiting, so I don't know if that tells you anything.
For Honor, there's another great example.
Yes, looked gorgeous.
Honestly,
terrible game.
My favorite games that I plugged the most time into this year were not the best looking games. They just weren't.
See, I wouldn't even. I don't like the idea of using the term the best looking games, because Breath of the Wild, Persona, they all looked incredible, but they weren't the hyper realistic. That's what I think what developers need to either step away from or just take a minute to ask. What does it add looking more realistic?
Yeah. Exactly.
Nothing.
Exactly.
Nothing.
Like Lloyd brings up a great point. That's why indie gaming is kind of blowing up right now. Is because they don't have the same amount of resources or the same amount of time to plug into developing incredibly intense textures and shit like that. But I mean, like, if you get a good concept, your game will do well.
Undertale. And even look at Hellblade's Newest Sacrifice. That looked amazing.
Yep. It did.
So we're at a point now where you don't need to keep putting millions of dollars into adding a couple more billion pixels.
And that's what I'm saying, is that, like, it's to the point now where, yes, graphics technology will get better, but it will end up... What the fuck was...
Did you hear that?
Did you fart?
Was that you?
Was that a fart?
That was a burp.
No way.
That went up through my throat. I was like...
So it was a throat fart.
Yeah, probably more like a throat queef.
That sounded like a fart.
And I'd like to point out that that's probably the best contribution he's made to today's show.
Probably.
All right.
Anyway.
You're welcome.
But I mean,
it without even trying.
But the thing is, though, is that, what you're balancing is the time that you have to spend developing these intensely detailed graphics versus... I mean, because you've got to pay designers every day that they show up to fucking work. You got to, like, it will bloat the budget to the point where you've got to sell a bajillion copies of the game.
Have we
not talked about this? Like, have we not talked about how the fact that games are so detailed now is what has bloated their budgets to the fact that to the point where they have to shove in microtransactions to make them even break even.
Yeah, so industry, listen up. If you don't want to spend billions of dollars on your video games, stop trying so hard with the graphics.
Video game industry's not listening to the show.
No, they're not.
They're not listening to the show.
A California couple has been ordered to pay a large sum of money in a legal battle against Twitch. Twitch took the creators of shoptwitch.org, twitchshop.com, and twitchstreams.org to court over the damage done to their platform by products allowing channels to seem more popular than they really are. In the end, the judge ruled the defendants couldn't mount an adequate defense of their services and ordered all 3 sites shut down. In addition, they'll no longer be allowed to create any software that interacts with Twitch and will be required to surrender the $1.3 million they earned plus $55,000 in damage.
God damn.
Holy shit.
God damn. That's awesome. First of all, this is great. And I'd just like to rewind the clock by about 7 months to when we talked about this being a fucking problem. Because we talked about it on this very show.
We did. How easy it was to become a Twitch partner when all you had to do was bot yourself.
All you had to do was just pay $25, and then suddenly you've got the credibility to become a Twitch partner. It was
so rampant too. I actually remember, and I won't mention them by name. I remember going into someone's stream and being impressed because suddenly they had so many viewers that night, and it didn't even dawn on me at first. I just thought they were doing really, really well. And when I mentioned, hey, Gratz and having so many viewers, like, people in the chat tried to, like, shut me up, and they were, like, really evasive on the stream and, like, wouldn't reference how many viewers they had, and that's when it kind of dawned on me, oh.
They're not popular.
Whoops.
Today must be your
about that.
Your interview day with Twitch, huh? Watching your numbers, are they?
I mean, honestly, if you have ever view-botted, or if you've ever, either Twitch or YouTube, or if you've paid for subscribers or paid for follows, you're doing it wrong. You are absolutely doing it wrong. I'm a big believer in organic growth, because in organic growth, yes, you can see results in terms of deeper penetration, but people are going to like your page if you produce good content. It's just the way it is. If you're not producing good content, or if you're just putting the same old shit out, people aren't going to like it. They don't need to like it. They can go to, wherever else they interact with your product, whether it's through Twitch or whether it's through, a podcast or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Like, you need to be responsible for growing your own audience.
Well, and here's the thing, too. When we look at what's happening, let's specifically use the YouTube content creators as an example, right? A lot of them are being left out in the dark right now, right? And if, let's say they have a following, if it's a true following, if it's all organic and people love their stuff because they love their stuff, if they go to Twitch, if they go to wherever it else is that they're going to follow them, right? People who like your content are going to follow you to other platforms. But if that's all just fake, bloated stuff that you just bought, well, when you get to this new platform, you're going to have to buy those follows all over again.
Yeah. And honestly, it's fucking embarrassing when people get caught doing it. Like, you feel bad for them.
No, you
don't. Feel embarrassed for them.
That you do, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I just... And it's like... We can all tell, like, that you're doing this in public, right? Like, we can all tell what the fuck you're doing.
I'd hate to have to try and justify myself or something like that. Like, I mean, what do you say?
I honestly, I don't know. I've never been tempted to view bot or follow bot, so wouldn't even know.
So in some interesting news here, the creator of the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, Yuji Naka, has signed on to work with Square Enix. He also had a hand in the creation of early Phantasy Star titles, and while we don't yet know which title he'll be working on with Square Enix, he did tell us to please look forward to it.
Oh, no.
So, now I feel like most people would probably look at this and get excited. I look at this and I'm like, aw, he's been swallowed up by the Square Enix hole. Never going to see him again.
If they put him on the FF14 development team, that scarves are coming to FF14. You know that they are. That's happening.
We'll get a cool Sonic minigame with chocobos, maybe.
Oh, boy. Oh, God.
Come on, Fat. Sorry, Cake. Cake, this you're a big retro gamer, always stuck in the past because you can't play new games. You have any thoughts on this?
It's going to be awful.
Oh.
Why do you say that?
When was the last time Sonic made a decent game?
That's a fair point.
But this is the creator.
When was
it's not like Square... Look, it's not like...
Square Enix made a good game.
Oh, legitimate question.
Two negatives.
Question.
Don't make a positive.
Serious question. Like, legit serious question. The last fantasy... when was the last good Phantasy Star game? I don't know because I've never played any of them.
Last good Phantasy Star?
Yes. Legit question. Don't beat me up.
I mean, no. The only ones I ever played was Phantasy Star Online, which were decent, passable games for the time. I mean, I enjoyed them.
Wonder if he had any involvement in that. Probably.
Yeah,
not.
see, that's actually why I'm interested to know your question, because he was the creator of Sonic. Doesn't necessarily mean that he's had hands in recent Sonic games, right?
But he said it said that he also worked on early Phantasy Star titles.
So what if the last Phantasy Stars or Sonic games were the good ones?
But I mean, like, the early Phantasy Star games were like decent RPGs, weren't they?
I mean, they were decent for the time again, but they don't hold up like Final Fantasies do.
I didn't think so.
They were. At the time when Dreamcast was relevant, I thought they looked rough, so I can't imagine how they look.
So, and I'm kind of sad that Nika's not here today because I have started playing Suikoden.
How far into it are you?
Not very far. And I think it's a pretty solid RPG, but I don't think it necessarily holds up that well. Some of the names in there are not, like Ted.
Oh yeah,
Ted. It's just little things like that. It kind of, I don't know. It's not necessarily break the immersion, but I'm like, come on, localization team, you could have done better than that.
Yeah, no, that's not something. I mean, with 108 characters,
leave poor Ted alone. Okay, he's doing his best.
Yeah, you get some bad names, unfortunately.
And I mean, that's. I don't want to cite that as the reason that I'm not going to finish it. I do want to finish it, but that's making it real tough right there.
Well, you don't necessarily have to use all the boring characters, so wait till you get some of the cooler ones.
All right.
Yeah.
Like Bill.
Great!
The Hearthstone World Championship came to a close last week, and in the end, it was Taiwanese player Tom 60229 who was declared the world's best. He came back from down 2-0 against the tournament favorite Frozen from the USA, and for his victory, Tom takes home $250,000. Frozen, meanwhile, takes home $150,000. Now, luckily, we have our resident card guy here.
That's right. Cake, tell us about Tom 60229.
Well, he's Taiwanese.
Did you not watch?
No.
Why not?
You're a Hearthstone guy.
I know, right?
I don't watch competitive Hearthstone.
Why not?
Oh my god.
Why wouldn't you watch competitive Hearthstone? Don't you want to know?
It's not really that.
Don't you want to know what the players at the highest echelon of the game are doing? You need to be able to keep up on the meta.
I already know what they're doing. They're playing Jade Druid, they're playing Raza Priest, and they're playing Q Block. I already know what they're all doing because the meta is super, super stale right now.
And I believe that the final match came down to Druid versus Druid, so.
Thank you so much for that.
But I would have thought you would be able to run down the I want to know
last final match.
Do your fucking job, man. I need to know like what his deck composition was, what the strategy he used was to win. Come on, man. How can you be failing us on this?
This is the one thing we expect from you.
This is, by the way, revenge for asking when the release date of whatever that was.
Oh, okay. What was the release date?
Who cares?
Stop
deflecting and answer the fucking question.
No, I was going to say, like, this is, like, basically, from what I understood online, like, all of the decks were pretty much straight down to the wire, like, borderline basic stuff. Like, the only, like, interesting tech choices were compared to, like, ladder decks versus competitive decks is, well, you know everyone's going to run these same 3 decks. There's not going to be any aggro decks, so you can take out the low-cost minions and just put more silence minions in your deck to counteract Carnivorous Cube, Void Caller combinations.
I don't know what any of that.
Yeah, no, I didn't either. Could you tell us about the new Ferret card?
The new. All right, it's not a new Ferret. It's not a new card.
He's wearing a fedora, though.
He's wearing a fedora. It's tunneling. Tunneling weasel?
It's a weasel or a ferret that's wearing a fedora, and it was a previously completely useless card, and now somehow it's like meta changing or something.
Basically, what the card does is when it dies, it goes into your opponent's deck, and it's a really bad card, right?
Okay.
So the idea behind this deck is you just keep basically respawning this minion over and over again, and you just fill your opponent's deck with this awful, awful card that they do not ever want to play. And eventually their 30-card deck turns into like a 60-card deck, and half of it is weasels. is
the italicized flavor text on that "Milady"? Should be.
It probably should
be.
Yeah.
By the way, does Hearthstone even have italicized flavor text?
Kind of. There is, but you can't actually see it in game. You have to go to your collection and look at it manually through each individual card.
So do you have this meta shifting card?
Yeah, I do. Actually, yeah.
Do you have a gold version?
No.
Aww.
The gold version is super expensive. That costs 4 times the amount of dust.
But it's a lot of dust. It's like a basic card, though, right?
It's an epic.
What?
Yeah, it's an epic.
Wow.
So tell us about Frozen. What do you know about Frozen?
Oh, why'd you ask him that?
He has like big inner turmoil that he just tries to repress down all the time, but he just needs to let it go and embrace his frozenness within his soul.
I was asking about the player, not the summary to the fucking movie.
Well, why'd you ask about Frozen?
The fact that you didn't see that coming from a mile away,
I did. I'm just completely.
Oh, you want to talk about FR0 Zen? Oh, that's a completely different person.
Okay.
Can you tell us about him?
He lost, so he's not worth talking about.
You know what? In more exciting news, this is probably my favorite video game-related news story of this year. I'm putting it at the top right now. Paramount is set to create a Duke Nukem movie, and of course, when you think of Duke Nukem, who do you think's gonna play him, guys?
I know the answer.
And so do I. So
well,
there's really only one guy.
It's John Cena!
I feel like if we had gone to that well again by just literally playing the drop, it would have just would.
I actually thought you were because you're over here typing in YouTube. So
I was gonna do it. I was thinking about doing it, but fuck that.
No, you shouted was actually way better than using the bit. But yeah, so John Cena, he's in talks to play the walking action movie trope as Paramount's Platinum Dunes looks to bring the character to life in the near future. And for those that don't know, Platinum Dunes is, of course, the studio run by none other than Michael Bay.
Oh, Jesus.
Though no director has been formally announced
How would they even do this? Like, honestly, real question. How would they pull this off and make it acceptable in 2018? Because, like, I find it hard to believe that you're going to get John Cena to give strippers, dollar bills to take their tops off. And, I mean, there's a lot of shit that Duke Nukem got away with that you would not be able to get away with if John Cena is Duke Nukem. WWE is not going to let him do that. There's no way.
Oh, you think that it's his okay, that actually makes a lot more sense then.
That's the thing, is that, he's got a certain image that he's got to maintain. There's going to be stipulations in his contract of what they're going to let him do and what they're not going to let him do.
All right, so now
John Cena, and by the way, John Cena's a great actor.
Yeah,
I think
the few things I've seen him in,
he's legitimately fucking funny. Like, I actually think that Cock Blockers looks like a fairly decent movie, but he was also in that Amy Schumer movie Trainwreck and was quite funny.
All right, here's the question I have for you, because you are way more plugged into the wrestling scene than either of us are, and I wish that Callie was here too, so we maybe pick his brain a little bit about it as well. It's not obviously uncommon. We've seen The Rock do it. I think Steve Austin's tried to do it, but where they go from wrestling into basically a full-blown acting career, right?
Right.
Has there been any rumors or rumblings that John Cena would be leaving the WWE at any point?
People come and go out of the WWE to film movies all the time.
Right.
It was more like, when The Rock went to Hollywood, it was on a full-time basis. There's not, like, you've got to get a hit underneath your belt to be able to justify that.
Right.
And I can't remember what the movie was that sort of, like, made The Rock a household name. But there was like a run. There was a run of like 4 or 5 movies, maybe after The Tooth Fairy.
Oh, Jesus.
Remember that movie? Yeah, that was great.
Watched it, but
I didn't want to.
That helps, catapult them. I mean, a lot of times people leave the WWE because of injury.
Right.
I don't think that was necessarily the case for The Rock.
I don't think it was either.
No, I think he just had more earning potential in Hollywood.
Yeah, well, because you're right, because I was never connecting the two that when you and Callie over on Checkpoint Radio were talking about how his good guy image and how he couldn't be in a rated R movie. I'm thinking he can be in whatever the hell he wants to be. But you're right. Except if it's written into the WWE contract that you have to maintain this image outside of it.
I don't know that it is, but WWE has been much more active in managing and maintaining the movie careers of their stars.
Okay.
Like what was that one movie, The Marine?
Yes.
That had
that was originally John Cena was in the first one, wasn't he?
I think so.
I think so,
but
too.
I mean, like that has a whole bunch of, and the fact that WWE is representing them as talent, I think that's where you're gonna hit the rub. That's where the real rub is. Because I mean, like John Cena, he's taken some very comedic roles,
right?
But none of them, like you're not really confused that that's not John Cena the wrestler, that's John Cena the actor, right? Like I think in like specifically action movies that there's a bit more of a concern with.
Let me ask you this:
maintaining some kind of character consistency.
At this point, when we look back on Duke Nukem, yes, at the time
they're up to Marine 6, says Kooky.
Are you kidding me?
I believe that.
I think that there might be more Marine movies than there are Land Before Time movies. That's
no.
Oh, okay.
They're at least up to 8.
All right.
Land Before Time?
Yeah.
I thought
at least.
Really? I thought they were like in the teens, but
probably.
Wow. Kooky, let us know. But anyway, even when he first came out, Duke Nukem was already a walking cliche. And now when we look back on him, like it's so ridiculous that he doesn't even really stand up nowadays because his like jokes and references themselves are even outdated, right? So you don't think that they could I don't even know if this is a possibility, but do it in such a ridiculous way that it wouldn't have to be rated R. I mean, obviously, when we think about it, it's kind of like the whole Deadpool thing. Like, if you make a Deadpool movie, it's got to be rated R, right? Could they do this in such a way where, okay, he's about to hand the stripper the money, and then we see the view from the back, so she's not actually showing her tits? Like, you don't think there's ways that they could, like, dance around it to where, yes, it would be bad and ridiculous, but it's also Duke Nukem, so it's already bad and ridiculous.
Yeah, probably.
Wow. He was so defeated with that.
I mean, probably. Like, that's the thing is that you can do nearly endless amounts of shit, but who's going to want to see that? Who's going to want to see a toned down version of Duke Nukem? Like real shit. Honestly.
Is anybody going to want to see a not toned down version of Duke Nukem?
I mean, if I'm going to go see a Duke Nukem movie, I want there to be all the fucking stupid one-liners. I want there to be explosion. See, the thing is I guess I don't care enough about Duke Nukem.
That's the thing.
To really even... But
when we heard about this, no one thought that's actually going to be a legitimately good movie. It's a bad idea for a movie. You have a potential terrible director. And even though, yes, John Cena is a great... he's got some great comedic chops. When we think of him as Duke Nukem, we just think... Of course.
But they're gonna pour money into it like it's Apocalypse Now, as opposed to what they should do with it and spend the money that they spent on maybe Sharknado or the Swamp Thing. And
they're up to 5 now, by the way.
You know what I mean? Like if you make it cheap and stupid, that has then you don't have to put people in seats to make it a blockbuster movie. I mean, it's Michael fucking Bay behind it too.
Oh yeah.
Michael Bay does a lot of really good things well. Not taking himself seriously is not one of those things. You know what I mean?
Have you seen recent Transformer movies?
Bro.
No.
Yes, I have. And the problem with them is that they take themselves way too seriously. The ones with, like, fucking Mark Wahlberg and shit. And, like, Mark Wahlberg is a ridiculous actor.
No, I love Mark Wahlberg.
So is Shia LaBeouf. But, like, they're making them do classic Hollywood shit. They're not... This is not, like, Sharknado level.
Okay, you're right.
Dumb
it isn't
bullshit.
Sharknado level.
You know what I mean?
No,
like,
yes.
No. It needs that level of self-awareness. Michael Bay's ego is too big to be even semi-close to self-aware. Right?
Yeah, okay.
He does not have the self-awareness to make anything except a multi-million-dollar blockbuster movie that millions of people are supposed to go see. What they should make is a competent action film that if 500,000 people saw it, that's a good thing. You know what I mean? Like, spend no money on it. None.
That's probably not going to happen.
Because it's got John Cena in it. So already you know that they're down to spend millions of dollars. This is going to be a movie that takes itself way too fucking seriously.
It's going that in itself could end up being entertaining, because whether or not
what the fuck? No.
Whether or not 500,000 people see it or 10 billion people see it, that doesn't affect the viewing experience.
Listen, not unless you have Tom Servo, Crow, and Mike making fun of the movie. Okay,
do they still do riff tracks?
They do riff tracks. In fact, just a quick plug. They in the always on category on Twitch, there's a Riff Tracks channel.
Really?
And there's a Shout Factory, which shows old episodes of Mystery Science Theater 3000.
That's cool. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, so highly recommended there. But I've been watching the Riff Tracks channel for like 3 days now. It's great.
Are you okay?
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
Okay, just making sure. All right, well, look, either way, it's going to be terrible. The question is, it going to be entertaining, terrible, or terrible, terrible?
No, I think it's just going to be terrible, terrible, because when you do that with no amount of self-awareness, like that, like it's going to be Duke Nukem, but done the same way that he did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Who's going to want to see that?
I like that.
Fuck off.
Oh, Jesus
okay,
Christ.
There's no, but is there any... level of self-awareness with those.
No,
Besides maybe some one-off jokes.
Yeah. No, if there is any self-awareness, it's in the writing itself, which I don't know that Michael Bay has anything to do with the writing.
Probably not. Yeah. No, he's just like, set up those barrels of TNT over there, Johnny.
Add more TNT.
Yeah.
So Epic's success with Fortnite doesn't seem to be spreading to their other titles. Despite at one time boasting 7 million users, their MOBA Paragon is being shuttered as of April 26th. Since the game never reached its full release, Epic is offering a full refund to anyone who bought into the early access of the game. The refund will be directly through Epic, though, rather than the platform provider. So, first of all, LOL Paragon. Now,
good night, sweet prince.
Shut up. Okay, so hold on. I might be getting this a little confused now. Is this the one that is kind of Overwatch clone-y?
Like the Overwatch clone?
Yeah, or is that is that Paragon, or is that's Paladins?
Oh,
that's
right.
Paladins. Paladins is still going. All right, so they killed their own game, first of all. Secondly, though, the refunds are being done through Epic rather than I feel like that's going to be a huge mess, people trying to get refunded.
Oh, wow, I don't even know what this game is. Paragon?
Yeah, it was some type of
I was thinking of Paladin.
No.
You're right.
No, this was made by Epic, who did Fortnite, and apparently because of Fortnite's success, people have stopped playing Paragon.
Wait, what?
They killed their own game.
That seems so funny.
Before it even came out.
No, I don't. I think the reason this game never came out is because it looks like shit.
Okay, but it had 7 million users at one point. 7 million.
What? How does it die so quickly?
Because people went to Fortnite instead.
No, that doesn't fucking make any sense. All right, look. Like, is Fortnite, it's a MOBA, so it's not a battle royale game.
MOBA. All right, well, you know what? Cliffy B also blames PUBG for killing Lawbreakers, and Lawbreakers is just Overwatch.
Well, do you think, I think that this is sort of leading to a, flavor of the year sort of
is
style
the flavor
of
the year bubble about to pop?
It's this, because I think it started with MMOs, right? Like,
yes, if it started anywhere, it would have been MMOs.
Prior to MMOs, like I think every game developer out there worth their salt was like figuring out what their niche was, right? You had Square Enix that was like really digging in on the RPG front. You had, a lot of other developers that were digging in on FPS. And then here comes Blizzard with World of Warcraft. And
changed the game.
It really pooled a lot of people under one concept. And that concept was going online to play a game together or continuously or against one another, right? And so out of that, you got kind of a stripped down version of that, which is MOBAs, right? And the competitive angle that came along with that, right? And every developer switched from developing an MMO, because every developer am I crazy, or for like 10 solid years was there?
Not even the MMO, the fantasy MMORPG.
Yes, it was like every developer switched to put one of those into development. Now, some of them ended up coming out and failing. Some of them never even came out. Some of them got retooled as different style games. But for a while, every fucking studio, every major AAA studio had some sort of MMO that was in development. And so after the MMO craze died down, and I mean, like, when game companies figured out there was no WoW killer, that WoW was the high water mark for MMOs, it moved to MOBAs. And now I think we're done with MOBAs, and now we're going to see a lot of battle royale style games.
Yeah, I feel like I saw the other day that there was a headline that mentioned that some game developer is thinking about working on a potential 1,000-player battle royale.
Why? Why? Why would you do that?
That
can't be fun.
Gotta get into that top 100.
That can't be fun. That cannot fucking be fun. You cannot lie to me and tell me that that's fucking fun.
You wouldn't try playing it?
No! Matches, dude, first of all, matches would either be 30 seconds or 4 hours. There's no in between.
I would like to point out that there was a time in your life where we sat down and watched a fight that was 12 hours long.
Here's the thing.
And thought, I want to do that.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. When we were watching those videos, we knew that the fight was going to be that long, right? Like everyone
going into it.
Everyone going into it knew that the fight was going to be that long. There wasn't a chance that it was only going to be 30 fucking seconds.
Well, some of them were.
I mean,
depending how quick
if you like, okay? But do you understand what I mean, though?
Yes.
Do you understand what I mean? Like, there's a different expectation set. Like, when I get into a match of PUBG, and it takes legitimately, like, 45 minutes to get to the final circle, not that I'm in the final circle, mind you, but you know what I mean? Like, if I'm in, you know, like, if I have somehow, in my cowardice, snuck my way into the top 15, okay? That's at least 35 minutes that I've been playing.
Of sneaking, which actually...
Of sneaking and collecting shit just to be a gigantic loot pinata. Fuck!
You know what? Metal Gear Solid has been training you for this game.
I know! I'm really good at Metal Gear Solid. I'm not very good at PUBG. I wonder why that is.
You're good at sneaking.
Thanks, Metal Gear Solid.
Maybe if they added in some type of stealth takedown, you'd be a little bit better at it.
The sad part is, I'm not even good at Metal Gear Solid. That's the saddest fucking part of this, is I'm not even good at Metal Gear Solid. Because when I was playing Metal Gear Solid 5 and I was fucking owning bases and shit like that, like I was like, fuck yeah, I am really good. And then I went online and I was like, no, I'm not very good. I'm not very good at all. I fucking suck. And that's been my experience in video games for like the last fucking 10 years, is that, oh, hey, I feel pretty good playing this in first person. Oh, wait, here, let's go online and really make you feel bad about yourself. Awesome. Thank you, video games. I appreciate that. Why the fuck do I do I do this show? Like, why do I do any of these shows related to video games? I am not even passingly good at video games.
Well, at least you're good at Pokemon, right?
No. I'm not good at Pokemon.
But wait, you got like a 40 win streak in the Battle Tower.
Yeah, that doesn't mean shit. Go online, have a fucking 17 fucking loss streak, and then tell me about whether or not you're good. See, the thing is that I know that if you went on if you did Wi-Fi battles, your shit would get wrecked so hard.
Probably.
Oh my god. At least I have a fighting chance.
Do you need a hug?
No. Don't touch me.
I think he needs an easier game.
That doesn't go online.
It's just
I tried ARMS.
Dark Souls?
I'm not, dude. I'm not complaining that they're too hard. I'm complaining that I'm terrible. I'm owning it. I'm at least owning it. At least let me own it.
Okay.
Fuck.
You're a bad.
I am a bad.
The first step is accepting it. Okay. This is actually, I lied. This is my favorite news story.
Great.
Duke Nukem's now number 2. A Russian company, Mail.ru Group, has acquired one of the largest esports companies globally in ES-Force. The acquisition is a complete one, as they now will be 100% owners of the company. The transaction was done in all cash at the price tag of $100 million. And by buying the company, they also get Virtus Pro and SK Gaming, not to be confused with SK Telecom, as well as Epic Esports events and the Epicenter tournaments. Does this not reek of a mafia front to anyone else?
Totally. Oh, dude. I mean, like, honest to God, every time I hear about shit out of Russia, terrifies the spine out of me. I'm so glad I don't live in Russia.
$100 million in cash.
That's fucking crazy.
This is 100% a front for the mafia. They're into esports now. They saw the potential growth and they're like, boom, that's us.
Duh, comrade.
The last headline I remember coming out of Russia was about this scientist. They discovered like 1,000 or 2,000-year-old virus that was immune to basically anything they threw at it. And so he injected it into himself. I don't know whatever happened to him, if he became a supervillain or not, but that's what I assume happened.
I assume he died.
He jumped right to human testing.
Dude, honest to God, fucking Russia is terrifying. Just fucking terrifying.
You know that they've
been banned from the Olympics because they've been trying to make their athletes genetic freaks for years.
You know that they actually there was over in Russia, they had actually tried to do a like straight up real Hunger Games type scenario.
And they put it on television.
No, they tried to, but I don't think it ever ended up getting the ratings that they needed to, and eventually they just kind of like left everyone.
Yeah, they didn't even bother telling anyone that they wrapped production. They were just like, all right, we're taking our cameras and leaving. I
left them out in the woods. Yeah.
You guys do whatever the
killing
fuck
people?
you want. I mean, that wasn't the goal.
That wasn't the goal, but technically there wasn't any rules.
Yeah. So
how do you win?
I don't know.
I don't know.
You live?
Yeah,
maybe?
you live. And the thing was,
So is it more like Survivor?
You could leave at any point if you wanted to. Like, you didn't actually have to stay there.
You just had to get over the electric fence to leave.
So some people left, but yeah, there were a bunch of people that just stayed out there, and like murder and rape was fine if you did it.
I just want to rewind a couple of years, like maybe, like 5 years, and remind everyone that Pussy Riot was a punk band that sat in Russian jails for like 3 years because they had talked shit about Putin and the church, and just like said shit that I guess the government found objectionable, and they fucking arrested them. They sat in jail. I think there are still members that are in jail.
That wouldn't surprise me now that you mention it.
It's fucking crazy. Fucking crazy.
Fuck Russia.
Dude, Russia's nuts, man.
So that's it for the news anyway. Back to you, Nate.
Thanks for that.
You're welcome.
On that note.
Yeah.
Let's talk about trash talk.
Let's talk about trash.
Well, if we're going to talk about trash, we might as well just talk about me. I mean, because I am trash at fucking everything.
Nah, Skrull's pretty bad too.
No, yeah, Skrull is the worst. No, but let's talk about trash talk, because while I've been on this epic losing streak, I've had more than a few opportunities to hear some trash talk at my expense.
What's been your favorite so far?
Mostly just the teabagging. It's not even trash talk. It's just
the teabagging.
Just the teabagging.
All right.
Anyway,
I actually teabagged someone in Overwatch the other day.
Did you really?
I killed a far. No. I had came up behind a baby Mercy. She was out of her suit, and she didn't even see me. Like, I'm on Zenyatta just charging up my balls. And
phrasing.
No, he throws balls. Came right up behind her and just domed her in the back of the head. Like, she didn't see it fucking coming. And so I'm like, all right, robot balls, here you go.
Robo balls.
Robo balls.
Anyway, so yeah, sort of sparked by or inspired by XQC's recent comments.
Mm-hmm. I'd say kind of the Overwatch League in general.
I mean,
because a few of my stories relate back to the Overwatch League as well. So, I mean, think about it. This is the first time that an esports is getting sort of like this national, like all at once, this big giant national like recognition. Obviously, even further than that, it's being globally recognized, right? But I mean,
sure.
You have.
I mean, yeah, it's going to be an Olympic sport.
I mean, regional rivalries. There you go. That's even better. This is the first time that we're really getting in esports true regional rivalries. Look at Texas specifically. They have Dallas and Houston. Texas, I think, is just an inherently competitive state.
Yeah.
And you have 600, 700, 800 people showing up at these watch parties, right?
Though that's a big fucking watch party. Holy shit.
Yeah, we got a message from someone down in, I think, in Dallas, that they had went to a watch party. Haven't played Overwatch before, but they were interested in the league.
Yeah.
They went to this watch party, and there were so many people had showed up, they had to annex 2 other nearby bars to send them into, because so many people are showing up to watch Overwatch League.
I mean, dude, that's crazy.
Yes. So, yeah, even outside of the pros themselves in the actual matches, trash talk is going to get real. And obviously, as people who watch this, it's fun to see these narratives unfold. It's fun to see these players kind of go at each other. And they've known each other forever. Depending on the teams, a lot of them have played with each other before, played with guys on other teams. You know, they've been in competition before. And now they're all staying within such close proximity to each other, because even outside of official matches, they actually scrimmage against the teams.
Right.
And some of the videos I watch, they're basically, it's kind of like coming to work, and the other teammates, or, the other team guys are kind of like your coworkers. So they see each other on a daily basis, and I think they're mostly probably all on friendly terms, but still, to see rivalry and these narratives, whether real or put on for the camera, as someone who's spectating, it's interesting to watch that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. And I don't want to say that trash talk has no place in something like esports or video games, because it does. I think that it's an intrinsic part of competition. But what are the logical limits? Because obviously XQC ended up stepping over a boundary when saying of the Houston Outlaws player that he would probably enjoy sucking a fat cock, something to that effect.
Yeah, pretty much. Go suck a fat cock, you'd enjoy it.
Yeah, something like that. And so where is the line? Because I think for so long, especially in video games, because there has been no line drawn for us, right? You can say damn near anything without being moderated or administered off of the platform.
And it's been going on for so long, too. I don't know if you guys recall.
Because it happens at such a fucking ridiculous rate.
Do you guys recall, this would have been when we were back in at Central, so 5, 6, 7 years ago. It made the rounds. There was I think it was a Street Fighter tournament, right? And a guy was going up against a girl, and he had said, "Oh, I'm going to rape you." And there was this big, giant, huge controversy about it, and it basically got dismissed by the majority of the fighting game community, going, "Oh, we've always talked like that, so it's not a big deal."
I do remember this story, yes.
Okay. That's, I think, one of the biggest hurdles is that it's been done for so long and by so many people that there is, and this isn't even honestly a problem in gaming, this I think extends to our culture in general, that because it's been done for so long, it's fine.
I mean, yes, and the fact that there's no consequence for it either directly through the game, unless there's text of it, right? Like if there's some sort of text log of it. But, like it's only been very recently that game developers and software has gotten good enough to be able to identify individual words when spoken out loud. And games, I don't think games or gaming platforms like PlayStation Live, whatever the online PlayStation, the PSN, like PSN or Xbox Live, they shouldn't be responsible for having to moderate that type of shit either.
Yeah, no, probably not.
And I'm not saying that there absolutely needs to be moderation, or there needs to be, but like can we just admit that there's been no accountability, and because there's been no accountability, it's made for an incredibly toxic environment that, I mean, I can understand people that are turned off to gaming almost immediately, especially if, they don't interact with gaming very often. They go check out this new awesome game called PlayerUnknown's Battleground. Everyone's fucking playing it, and the minute you get thrown into that lobby, it's nigger, 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 China #1.
Constantly, without stop.
And that was fucking 4 matches in a row.
And see, and that's the thing. Here's the thing.
4 matches in a row. China #1, and just dumb verbal vomit.
Some people might go into that for the first time and think, oh, it's online, people are crazy. That was a one-off. 4 matches in a row.
Yeah.
That's fucking ridiculous.
I can name, I mean, I bet you if we loaded up a match of PUBG right now, that the minute we get put into that fucking plane, there's going to be either just fucking noise or verbal diarrhea of some sort.
And I don't know that in the games themselves how effective that really anyone can be at curbing that, at stopping that. I think, and I'm hoping that with a more professional scene on the level that Overwatch League and even the NALCS is at this point, that these streamers, because a lot of them, and are streamers and whatnot, are going to have to learn that they have to start changing the way that they act in certain respects. Now, I don't know. I can only hope that that's going to have a sort of trickle down effect, start to maybe create role models like back in traditional sports. We used to have like Michael Jordan, right? People wanted to be like Michael Jordan, right? I don't know if that's going to happen, but I'm glad to see people like XQC being fined for that and sort of trying to define where a line is, because trash talk, there is a line, but I think it's really thin. I think it's except in some extreme circumstances, it's hard to even denote what's acceptable and what's not, because what's acceptable for some people isn't acceptable for other people. And to that note, there is also obviously bad trash talking that is still acceptable, and really clever trash talking. Muma, after defeating the Dallas Fuel, said "rolled and smoked," which was XQC's, I guess, famous catchphrase, which I actually thought was really clever, right? XQC didn't think so. And apparently they've still been using it, or people have been using it just for other teams now. So
because it really bothers him.
It
Good.
does. It bothers the hell out of him.
Good.
And I think that that's actually pretty clever, but just going and throwing, like...
I'm going to start using it.
Rolled and smoked.
I'm going to start using it. Fuck it. Why not?
Tag him every time you do.
I don't know. On checkpoint.
When you win?
On checkpoint.
When?
Just at the most... Not even when it's applicable.
Yeah.
Not even when it's applicable.
Exactly.
All right, fair enough.
That is actually hilarious.
And the thing is I think I want to do it just because it bothers him too.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But the thing is that, and I'm sure that there are members of the audience that are like, well, but Nate, this is very confusing because I've heard you get very aggressive with callers, and I've heard you yell and shit talk people on your stream all the time. And yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not. I mean, I'm not trying to say that shit talking and trash talking isn't fun or has no place, but it does have limits.
Yes.
Right? Like I think it has some very clear limits, and you know, Overwatch League does have a way of being able to punish players, unlike you know, random shit that you get thrown into. But it's just like, dude, it's so rampant among gamers to find that kind of environment normative. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's also kind of
the
concerning.
Scary thing about it. We were actually Chris and I were talking on the way here.
To the point where, you know, like dumb shit like "do you know the way" gets kind of like fucking like, why a meme like that is tone deaf or offensive is completely lost on people. Like they just have no fucking idea.
You tell them that it's racist. They're like, "What? How?"
Well, I mean, we don't really need to go back over
but,
that.
Yeah.
But you know, it's just it's shit like that that's kind of allowed to breed and fester that gets really. I mean, it doesn't get under my skin. I could honestly fucking care less. But I think that it turns a lot of people off from gaming, and I think that, you know, if people sit around and wonder why isn't video gaming taken more seriously, or why aren't gamers taken more seriously?
That's why.
It's because whenever you load into a match of anything,
and here's the thing,
you have a pretty high percentage of running into some dumb, toxic bullshit.
Specifically with, well, I'm going to use Overwatch as an example, too. You know, there are a lot of people that I know that are interested in it, don't want to play it, but they want to learn more about it, right? When you're trying to get into something that maybe you don't have, like, a super vested interest in, and you know, you got to work a little bit to understand and kind of get into the culture and stuff. When you're already working to try to learn something or to try to like something, and then you find out there's this other negative aspect that goes along with it, that could potentially, this could have been something that you got really into, really, really enjoyed, but because of shit like that, you just decide, you know what, no, I'm going to check out. It's not worth getting to learn this and maybe have fun if I have to deal with this shit or try and ignore this shit the entire time that it's going on.
Yeah. And I think that's the point where I'm at.
Oh.
You know, like, I'm just like, is it even worth it to go to play online anymore? I don't like it. I don't like it. I enjoy the challenge and the dynamicness of fighting another human being. I don't like interacting with you guys.
You just want to kill them.
I don't.
Or be killed. One of the two.
And let it just end there. Okay, yeah, you got me. You won. Oh, boy.
You'll get me the next 3 times, too, but maybe.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, doesn't this fucking shit get... Like, doesn't it wear thin on anyone else? Like, I feel like even like anyone who's even remotely psychologically damaged could really walk away even more psychologically damaged by getting, just having one bad fucking day playing online.
Well, because
you just get shit hurtled at you. And why? For what reason? I would love to think that this is just kids, and kids got the bulk of the blame for a long time. But
we're starting to realize it's not.
And I'm not saying I don't hear kids doing dumb shit on video games online. Way too often, it's someone who has a voice as deep as mine.
Honestly, yes, 100%. In fact, there's probably been more times in Overwatch competitive matches where the person being toxic is absolutely an adult, and there have been a few times where what sounds like a 7 or 8 year old kid is the one trying to talk like common sense and be like, guys, can we just focus on the match and play nice? Nope. The adults say no.
No, you sure fucking can't. And I mean, I get it. Your ego is wrapped up in this shit, and you want to be able to brag, and you want to be able to, I don't know. I don't even know what the end game is, because if you're not even close to going pro, you're not going to see a payday out of it. Just fucking why bother? That's part of my other problem. I do not have. I have OCD within me, but I don't have enough OCD to dedicate myself enough to one game,
right,
where I can study it for that long.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and it's not like I play a lot of games either. So it's frustrating for me, because I don't even see the end of a lot of the games that I play, because I just kind of lose interest maybe halfway through. And I don't feel like dedicating myself to be able to get good enough to take it online.
So is there an answer to this?
Definitely not. No. I mean,
I think that's the problem.
I'm just venting about it because I'm fucking tired of hearing it.
That's, I think, what's most exhausting to me is that there's not even anything you can do about it. I'd actually like to point out, in a recent developer update, they mentioned recently with Overwatch, they've actually reduced the number of abusive chat reports by 17%, and actual reporting is up 20%, because recently they implemented a thing to where if someone that you've reported has action taken against them, it sends you a message saying one of your reports we took action against, right? So they're actually, Blizzard is, I guess,
trying to police it a little bit more.
And to a certain degree, successfully. They've also mentioned, too, that in certain instances, they are proactively looking for toxic behavior. One of the biggest, I think, things that you can find Overwatch-related on YouTube is people who go into a match, they're as toxic as they can possibly be, and then they upload it because, haha, this shit's funny to watch, right? Blizzard's now says that they're policing that, and really, really bad examples of it, they'll figure out whose account that is, and they'll take action against them.
I mean, that's good on Blizzard. Someone's going to have to do it, but most game companies and developers don't have those types of resources.
No, they don't.
You know what I mean?
I don't think PUBG's ever going to bother doing anything.
Why would they? I mean, you have the option. Listen, you have the option to be able to turn that in-game voice chat off. And I get that, and I do a lot of times. Mm-hmm. But it's dismaying to me as someone who really loves gaming, and who has dedicated so much of my career to talking about games, that when you get right down to it, the people who are interacting in this community are just fucking some of the worst people that I've ever. Some of the best, but also some of the fucking worst people.
And the other problem, too, is I think that this problem might seem bigger than it is, because as we said before, a lot of new people coming in see this and they decide, no, I don't want anything to do with that. And I think that can also be said of people who have been here the entire time, but because they don't want to deal with it, they don't interact at all. So we have what seems like this big population of toxic gamers. I think it's smaller in the grand scheme of things because so many of us stay quiet because we just don't want to deal with it.
But I mean, and to your point, what do you actually do about it?
I don't think.
I don't know that there's really not an answer.
There
isn't.
I don't think there isn't.
Let's go to our phone lines and talk to Meter Man. What's going on, Meter Man?
Hey guys. So I got to watch my first OWL on Thursday because, I wanted to see the Outlaws. I mean, they're my team. I'm from Houston.
Yeah, Outlaws.
So,
woo!
But walking into that, right on the Overwatch League webpage is Prophet has been fined for obscene gesture during the contest. This is my first time ever watching it, and these guys are so toxic they can't even shut up.
Hold on, just really quick. Did you read the Prophet thing at all? Because I think that it did come at a very inopportune moment on his part right after the XQC thing.
I did, where he was supposedly talking to his coach, and they could see the video, and he didn't expect it to be on the stream.
Yeah, he was basically flipping off people in the dugout for making fun of him, and he just happened to be up.
But still, you don't see Major League Baseball players looking at their coach saying, F you because, you told me not to swing away and I got a hit.
Let me ask you this.
I don't know that that's entirely true because I actually do. I mean, you see managers and shit get up in umpires' faces. So I mean, there is an element of that in sports.
And you don't think that down in the dugouts or on the sidelines somewhere that out of earshot, because obviously when it comes to traditional sports, I mean, there's a lot of shit going on all over the place, that they're not giving each other shit? I mean, how often do we...
they definitely are.
How often do we sit here and say, fuck you? We call him a fat fucking ass. Like that middle finger, that was to me the equivalent of that, but because it was on camera, it was.
See, I think yes,
it was still technically against the rules.
Yes,
so that's why they fined him.
And they had to follow through on it, and they couldn't turn a blind eye to it because XQC would sit there and go, "Oh, but
he did anyway.
You punished me.
He did anyway.
Of course he did.
But he doesn't get to. How many games was he banned for?
Because he's a belly aching little fucking asshole.
Yes. Now, I do agree with you though that yes, the Overwatch community is very toxic, but unfortunately, I think the Prophet thing came at just the absolutely wrong time for him.
I think that's different, and I do think that actually speaks to sort of the more nature of competition, because as I used to work at an ESPN radio station, and we used to have to carry play-by-play of baseball and basketball, some football, and especially basketball. You would hear shit from the court all the time, and it a lot of times it would contain profanity, and I don't think any of the players ever got in trouble for anything like that. The broadcasters never really got in trouble for anything like that. It's what's called a passing expletive, or
something you can't really
transient. It's a transient expletive. That's what it's called. And yeah, you're not held responsible for things like that. And I think that is much closer, probably, to what happened with Prophet. I think the thing with XQC is much, 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 much different, because this is not in a tournament environment. This is not in a play environment. This is not even in an environment where he didn't have control over where the cameras were pointing like Prophet did.
It was his
XQC was on his personal stream. He was talking to the camera, trash talking on purpose. And I'm not saying that the trash talking was the problem, and I don't even know, I'm not LGBT, so I'm not even really someone to say whether or not what he said went too far. Clearly, to Blizzard and to the Dallas Fuel, that was too far. That was over the line. And
it was pattern behavior.
And again, my line is going to be way different from anyone else's. Okay, that's I don't think the issue here. I think the issue is, if we're not going to draw these lines as gamers, right? If we're not going to try to take control of this,
somebody else will.
We leave it in the hands of people like Blizzard, or people like Twitch, or people like YouTube, the people who control the actual fucking purse strings to allow us to do what we do as gamers, as broadcasters, as professionals. That's, I think, really the problem, is that there is no governor being put on this valve. There is it's just shit upon shit upon shit. And there's nothing that we as a community do to try to address this, or to even talk about it. How often does this stupid toxic sludge get talked about?
All the fucking time.
like the way that we're talking about it now, maybe in casual conversation.
No, people complain about it all the time.
People do complain about it all the time.
But they never want to do anything about it.
Well, but then, you hear about things like, oh, well, Xbox Live wants to monitor in-game chats, and then people fucking light their hair on fire, and they go, oh, well, it's Big Brother, it's Big Brother. You can't have both. You can't have both. And clearly, having no moderation, you guys you're still acting like children with it. And not even the children. The grown fucking adults are acting like children with it.
Yep.
That's the part that bothers me. That as a 33-year-old adult gaming enthusiast, that shit bothers me.
Yeah, you're not alone. Now, Mirror Man, I actually have a question for you, and then this might lead into to the story I wanted to tell. You said you're an Outlaws fan, so I'm sure that you watched them play against the Florida Mayhem, right? On Thursday.
I wouldn't have called that a game. I wouldn't have called those matches.
That's fair. That's fair. But you saw the interview afterwards with Zoe and Jake, right?
Yes.
What did you think of that interview?
Yeah, Jake has got some class.
Oh,
he's got some real class.
You think he has class?
Well, I get where you're going to go, but I mean, he could have been like, oh hell yeah. I'm not that good at improv, so my speech.
But I mean, like,
okay, for those of you that
explain, I'm in a little bit in the dark.
That are wondering, so I basically asked them about their upcoming match against the Gladiators, who are a pretty decent team. They gave the Valiant a real big run for their money. And, Jake said that, look, they have their flaws just like anybody else does. They have a very distinct style, but they tend to stick to that. And, we're gonna exploit that. And she asked him, well, what do you think the match is going to be? And he goes, 4-0. And you got kind of like a ooh from the crowd. And he's like, sorry, that's what it's going to be, right? And now I'm an Outlaws fan too, and I absolutely love Jake. I'd marry him if I could. And I thought that it was great. I thought it was setting up a really great rivalry. And when I was talking to a friend of mine, he's like, nah. Every time I see Jake up there, he's a fucking asshole. He's too cocky.
Good.
He's like, I can deal with trash talk, but that's too much.
Oh, come on.
Oh, God.
No.
Complain about it.
Hang on. Now, I do want to point out something here, Robbie. Is that what he was doing was not trash talking. He was driving heat. There's a difference. Because that's the reaction that an opposing fan is supposed to have. Trash talk me all you want. Call me a faggot all you want. But the minute you say that you're going to beat me on the field, then it kind of changes it, right?
Well, the other thing that I thought, too, was that it was a really clever tactic as well. Because if you call the Gladiators out for having a very specific style and strategy, they might then think, let's try to switch it up when we play them, which would put you at a weaker game.
Yeah.
Which doesn't even make sense, by the way, because, in Horizon, Gladiators use the Slambulance, which is like 3 or 4 tanks in Moira, and just cruise through the point. So, yeah, they use the same strat all the time, except that they used a completely different strat this other time.
But you all right there?
No.
What'd you do?
I knocked over the fleshlight.
Oh.
What?
This is not a flash... Oh,
no,
it's a flashlight.
It's an actual flashlight.
Why do you have a flashlight?
I mean...
I like how he doesn't question if you have a flashlight or not. But
yeah,
a flashlight,
that the flashlight would be okay, but the flashlight, yeah. I see, but the difference is that, like, that kind of trash talk is supposed to drive hatred with a fan of an opposing team.
Which, by the way, they did go 4-0.
Right? Like, XQC's comment doesn't drive hatred with the other team. That drives hatred of the person.
Actual hatred.
That's what the wrestlers call go-away heat. XQC has go-away heat. On the other hand, the member of the Outlaws, Jake has legitimate heat, but that's heat that will sell tickets.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
the difference. That's the difference. No one's going to buy tickets because XQC said homophobic things on his stream. People will buy tickets if they think that they're going to watch Jake, who they think is too cocky, is going to get his ass handed to him.
And
right?
Yeah. And
big difference.
And it goes even further because at the end, or as they were going through, like, between the matches, they show like the cams and stuff and everything. Every time it popped up on him or Raucus, they give you a little 4-0.
I mean, see, like.
When I was driving home, I was trying to listen to it on Twitch, and I was going through like back roads, like my signal was constantly cutting out. Oh, I was so pissed.
Big difference.
So pissed.
Big difference. Meaner Man, I've heard you try to get a word in edgewise. What do you want to say?
You guys are awesome, but
I know we are. Thank you.
Well,
same.
Is that any different from saying we're number one and we're undefeated? Is that the same thing though? That's not being cocky. That's just saying, hey,
no,
we've got everything. We know how they're going to play, and this is how we're going to play.
That's confidence.
Professional sports, and I look at the way they interviewed some of those players, and they've got those restrictions on them. Ocho Cinco or Chad Johnson would often basically do his little bit of trash talk, but at no point he was like anything XQC would do.
Right.
Or, he would say, hey, this is the cornerback I'm going to eliminate next week. I'm going to score a touchdown on. And he was cocky as shit. But you know what?
Right.
It didn't matter. He was within his bounds. And you know what? I watched Bengals when he actually played for them. Now I don't watch him because, well, never mind.
Here. Let me demonstrate. Actually, let me demonstrate the difference right here. I'll be able to demonstrate the difference.
Oh, boy.
All right. Here is what here's the Outlaws player. Jake. Here's what Jake did. Okay. That's what
Jake from State Farm.
Right. Yes. in his khaki pants. Here's what he was able to do. Right. There's two different ways to respond to the statement that you said. The reason that this drives heat is because what he said with confidence, and that's the reaction that you get when you're addressing a whole bunch of beta males. Okay. Here's XQC. Yep, that's what happens when you're talking to faggots. Big difference. Big fucking difference. Says the same thing. Almost the same insult. There's a big difference between the way that those two messages are delivered. And I think that matters, right?
100%.
Correct me if I'm wrong, chat room. Please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Meater Man, thanks for the call. We appreciate it.
I'll see you guys at LBR.
Yep, take it easy, man. If you want to give us a call, let us know what you think. Final Encountercast on Skype, 810-207-1764. You can also call in on Discord. That's limitbreakradio.com/Discord. And, that I think is the best way to sort of set it out right there. Is that, we all know gamers as a collective tend to be a little bit more introverted. They tend to be, beta males is a tough way to say it, but I think that can be,
it gets the message
largely true. There are not that many alphas that exist among gamers, let's be honest. And that, the way that you say that matters, because the second way that I put it, calling everyone faggots, that's going to go away heat.
Leaves a bad taste in everyone's mouth.
Exactly.
In fact, 'cause I wasn't really sure exactly where you're going with all of that at first. So when you said the beta males thing, I thought, oh, that's a good one. That you got the actual exact response out of me that I think you would have in any situation. You get
driving heat.
Oh,
shit.
Type stuff.
Oh man, this guy's on a gaming podcast and calling gamers a bunch of beta males.
Thank you.
That's tough. Both statements are tough to swallow. One drives heat. The other drives go away heat.
Hate. It's ridiculous.
Exactly. We'd love to hear from you. Again, Final Encountercast on Skype, 810-207-1764, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. Let's go to Piggy. Piggy, what's going on?
What's up, guys? Long time no see.
Yeah, how you doing?
I can only hear you. I can't actually see you.
Yeah. What's up?
I just wanted to backtrack back to overall toxicity, regardless of what game you're playing. I used to be always vocal, playing Halo back when it was relevant, and I would just get flamed for no reason. And it's gotten to the point where I just refuse to plug in my microphone in any game. I just don't talk at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for and like you said, Piggy, for no reason either. You know what I mean? I'll never forget, dude. I'll never forget watching, hanging out this back when I was in college, and before I could buy weed from a store, right? When I had to still know a guy to have to buy weed, the guy that I was buying weed through used to hang out with a whole bunch of dudes in my building that were like frat guys, right? Like they didn't have a frat that they were a part of, but they used to sit around and play, split screen Halo all fucking day, and Nazi Zombies when that came out was really big with those guys. And I'll never forget watching this guy who's 35 at the time jump on a game of Nazi Zombies and continuously rag like a 9-year-old kid into the dirt. Now, was I sitting around laughing and giggling at all the shit that he was talking? Of course I was. But at the same time, like, if that's what you have to do in every online game that you go into, at what point do you end up burning out? And like Piggy said, unplug the fucking microphone and just be done with the whole thing. Because I'm damn near at that point as well, where I'm just blanketly muting the in-game voice chat for things like PlayerUnknown's Battleground without even giving it a second thought. And I think that is definitely problematic, because that sucks, man. Who wants, I mean, I guess in PUBG it doesn't fucking matter. Unless you're playing, squads or doubles. But it still is a shitty aspect of, like, because the community actually does mean something to me. The quality of people that are playing games does mean something to me. And I mean, yeah, you could say that that's just a cross section of humanity and of people, and it's no worse than your average cross section of just any part of humanity. That may also be true. It's just depressing after a while. It gets to you. It weighs on you. That sucks. That part of it really does fucking suck.
Even I was playing Overwatch probably a couple of weeks back doing my placement matches, and that's about it. I just had one shitty game, and I didn't even have my microphone plugged in, and I was getting messages telling me to go kill myself and leave.
And that's really, like, I think everyone knows that that's, of course, over the line, but it happens so often. It's such a common occurrence that, yeah, man, that's fucking tough. And again, you don't need to do a whole lot to elicit messages like that, right? Like, I logged into FF14 very quickly last night. Had a very slow dungeon run. No fault of mine. It was the 2 DPS. Both of them were new. First time going through the dungeon. The fucking healer, like, after we were done, would not, like, he sat there in fucking paragraphs.
Oh, Jesus.
You know what I mean? And it's like, it wasn't directed at me, but at the same time, it's just like, what was the point of this? And it was that same fucking thing. It was the same thing that had been done to me in the past, where they pre-typed all of this throughout the dungeon, and then right before they hit the exit, they hit send. And it's just like, I'd be like, I felt bad. I had to sit there and be like, dude, don't fucking worry about him. He's a piece of shit. Like, I hate having to excuse the actions of people that I'm playing with. And you do have to do that sometimes. Inevitably, you're going to be put in that situation where you're like... It
makes the community look bad all the way around, too.
Totally.
See, I think that the problem with that just is because as we said, there's no way to fix any of this. There's no answer to it. So long as there is anonymity on the internet, that's going to be there, which I think is why people, in a lot of cases, stopped combating it. To go back to a story I was telling earlier, Juxta, you said that you, at one point, had stopped worrying about putting in reports for toxic behavior in Overwatch. Because it was everywhere. It wasn't doing anything.
Can't avoid it. Why bother?
And it was only until Blizzard actually started sending out those messages that saying, we appreciate your report, action has been taken, that a lot of people are like, okay, it's actually doing something now.
Well, and to your point earlier, like getting actual messages back, like action has been taken. Yeah, that's, I think, also very important to make people feel like their message is not just being thrown into a hole.
Yeah, because what ends up happening in a lot of my competitive matches, whether people are being actually toxic for reasons or not, or even just being fucking stupid, like people making fapping noises through the microphone or having music, just stupid shit like that. Like when you come into team chat before the match even starts and that's there, everyone who is sane or has any common decency immediately leaves the voice chat and then reports you.
Yeah.
So it's not like there's any way that even we could... Because here's the thing, again, with the anonymity, even if you decide as a group, this guy's being hateful, making fun of the Mercy main because it's a girl, even if everyone in the party starts trying to fight back, it doesn't matter. You can't do anything to him. He has the anonymity of the internet.
Right.
In fact,
and he'll just go make another account, too.
And he has more power over you in the moment because he's going to throw the match for you. So why fight back against these people when you can just put them on mute?
That seems like such just a... Like it's
a shitty thing to have to deal with it that way.
It's such a not satisfying answer.
At all. At all.
Fucking hate it. Piggy, thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it. Always appreciate hearing from you. Final Encountercast on Skype, 810-207-1764, limitbreakradio.com/Discord if you want to call in. Thoughts on trash talk. Where is your line? What's your worst trash talk story? Give us a call. Final Encountercast, 810-207-1764, limitbreakradio.com/Discord to call in on Discord. Has it ever made you stop playing a game?
I have a story that I want to tell, actually.
Okay.
Because I actually like that. Your worst trash talk story. And immediately when I think about that, it's like, well, I don't think I really have any, because like I said, whenever I get into a situation like that, I just remove myself, because there's no winning, right?
Right.
But what happens when that worst trash talk story is something you can't get away from? What if it's someone on your team or a friend of yours? I have this guy that I play with that, I mean, he's a pretty smart guy. Like through and through. There's overall, I think he's a pretty decent guy, and I don't know if this is just something that happens to gamers or if it's just a male thing overall. But he a lot of the times it seems like he's really self-aware of things. But then when you actually get right down to it, when you actually get into like a match of Overwatch, for example, and something's going wrong, even when no one's even necessarily to blame, because sometimes the other team is just better than you are, right?
Yeah.
They adapt better than you are. They play better than you are. Or
there is always going to be someone who is better than you.
There is. And sometimes if you're losing, even if it's really badly to something you shouldn't be losing to, sometimes there's just not an answer for it, right?
Sometimes you're playing on tilt.
Right. Oh my God, especially if you're on tilt. And at that point, you just got to take the loss. Or just try your best, try to have a good game.
Right.
What I can't stand about this guy is he's the one that will go into voice chat and start blaming other people, start getting at them, start yelling at them, and whether or not they were playing to their fullest or not. Once you do this, once you start instigating this hostile behavior, that can't ever help. No one is going to be on the receiving end of hostility and think, oh man, you're right, I better get my shit together, or suddenly their skill becomes better, right? And what ends up happening in most cases is that person, well, you know what, we're already losing, so fuck it, I'm going to throw now. And the whole thing just goes downhill.
And then you just get the confirmed loss.
Confirmed loss. Chris, you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about.
It's Skuro.
Yeah.
That's you, Skuro. That's something that you need to work on.
And here's the thing is that, like, if you're assessing somebody's play style, especially somebody on your team, berating them, worst possible choice.
It's not going to help.
No.
Ever. 0%.
When has that ever helped for anyone ever? If you did bad on a math test and your teacher's sitting there going, well, dummy, you just did you fucked up another you fucked up another math test. Clearly you're unteachable. Like, you would never want to go back to that class ever.
No. Best case scenario when someone does that is the person on the receiving end mutes you and just keeps doing what they were doing. That is the best case scenario.
Yeah. And, you know, if it's someone on your team, if it's a team that you're trying to grow, that you want people to still continue to show. I mean, dude, why do you think raid groups break apart so often? You know, people get frustrated and then they're like, you're not doing your shit. Instead of noticing that person wasn't doing their shit, addressing it, they just let the fucking mistakes keep piling up. And then they go, finally, after the 30th mistake, motherfucker, move! And at that point, you've completely lost the ability to communicate.
You know, you actually just reminded me of probably one of my favorite moments in Overwatch. We had a match that we ended up losing. We had a guy on Winston who had ulted, which makes him close to next to invincible almost, who was holding the point for us, but he kept jumping. He jumped so high in the air, you technically count as being off the point for a split second. And so the thing keeps on ticking higher and higher and higher, and that's why we ended up losing, right? So afterwards, like at the end of the match, I I was shouting at him in the Discord, but not at the actual dude. But after the match, I was like, hey, just so you know, when you use Winston's ult like that, like usually you want to use it to like try and clear the zone and keep them off the point, not necessarily go for kills, because he's usually chasing people off the point with it. I got a message afterwards, and he's like, I did not even realize that every time I jumped that it was ticking up like that.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. I mean, simple little caveats to things like, going, hey, buddy, do you want some feedback? Or, hey, I noticed...
Can I offer you a little advice?
I noticed some things that you were doing. Yeah, can I offer you some advice? That's great.
When you do this happens, just be aware of it. And then, like, they could not be aware of it, and they're like, oh,
well,
yeah.
but I mean, like, even putting it out there, if you're just putting it out there, it sounds like you're putting somebody on blast. And if you're dealing with someone who, again, not to paint with a wide brush here or anything, but if you're dealing with someone who doesn't have the best social communication ability in the world, going, hey, man, I don't know if you know this or not, that sounds a little condescending. So approaching it like, hey, dude, I noticed something. Do you mind if I give you some feedback? Asking permission to give feedback, I think, is actually like, if you are genuinely concerned about team comp moving forward, fucking that is one of the biggest things that you can do, is watch your fucking approach, man.
Everybody wants to get better, right? So, but they don't necessarily want to be told that they suck.
Exactly.
When I was up at Central in acting, one of my friends was a director for us when we were doing a student-led thing, and something that I noticed the second or third rehearsal that we did is the way that he would ask you to do something else. He'd go, hey, I saw what you were doing there and I really like it, but could you try this? And usually it ended up leading to something that was great, because when I was watching that Winston guy play, he was going for the kills, sure, and that's fine, but you were also off the point, and everyone knows the objective is, well, the objective. So.
Right. But I mean, like, this show operates off of a lot of beat-down comedy and a lot of trash talk, one against another. But, I think what people might tend to forget is that we've been friends for 10 years. You know what I mean? Like, we've developed the rapport with one another to where, when we make fun of Chris or when we make fun of Robbie or I'm in the fucking ringer, that, we know how things are supposed to be received. I don't think anyone leaves here going like, man, did he really mean that fat comment? Like, at least I hope you don't. Fat.
Yeah, he leaves going, he meant it a little bit.
Just a little. Only because I worry about your health.
Now I wish I had cake.
We all wish you had cake.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because then you could share it.
Exactly. Let's go back to our phone lines and talk to Zeldoria. What's going on, Zeldoria?
Hey, how are you?
Good. Thanks for calling in.
I'm good. I just wanted to talk about, trash talking. I can't play Overwatch anymore with my friends because whenever we play, it's just everyone's yelling at each other, and it gets to a point where it's ridiculous, and I don't find it fun anymore.
Like, your teammates are yelling at each other?
Yeah, is it like bringing out a different side of your friends that, like, you just don't think you like?
No, I mean, we all, like, you guys, we make fun of each other all the time. It's just, everyone's just yelling, and it's like, I don't enjoy playing this if, two people are over here yelling, like, about, missing a Pharah play, and it's quick play, and I'm, jumping on Sombra because it's funny, even though it makes no sense.
Okay, yeah, I got that. See, that's kind of what we run into with Skrull a little bit, because he's a decent player, but when he gets put on tilt, he turns into a different guy, and he goes too far with it, and it's not fun to play with him.
Yeah, actually, two of my friends, they're both plat, pushing even higher than that. Diamond, usually I think right now they're actually currently Diamond. They'll play with us in quick play, and just they yell at each other all the time, and they live together, and they're boyfriend and girlfriend. And it's just like, I don't know how that you find this fun. It's ridiculous.
So it's like they can't separate the fun of quick play and the seriousness of competitive.
Yeah, I mean, the guy, he's fine with it. He'll do the same thing. He'll hop on Hanzo. Like, this is before, the stupid, scattershot thing. But he would hop on Hanzo just because, he was
quick
there.
Play. That's what you do.
Yeah. And even he, when they would play comp, she'd never let them play Hanzo. But then she went away for a little bit, so the whole weekend he just sat and played Hanzo and did better than anything else. And he said, "This is great. She's not here. I can play Hanzo."
Oh, that's so terrible. Like a closet Hanzo player.
That's funny.
So have you tried to talk to them about it?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know.
Chill out.
Have you ever brought that up? How it's like, yo, your bullshit is making it really not fun to play with you.
Oh no, I do all the time. I said, "This is why." Like, I'll still be in like Skype with them when they're playing. I'm like, "You guys know this is why I don't play, because all you do is yell at each other." And they're like, "Yeah, we know. We don't even care at this point. We just hate this game, but play it nonstop."
Okay, see, people like that, they're the problem.
Yeah. Well, I don't. Yeah. I mean, yes and no. I can also understand, especially with my relationship to FF14, how you can kind of keep doing that and how it can be a little bit annoying. But yeah, I totally get your point that, you know, and I don't think I've ever experienced it where it's like been my friends who, you know, like I'm suddenly annoyed by the way that they conduct themselves. You know, we've been in FF11, we were in endgame link shells together and stuff like that, and I never got annoyed with you guys as players.
No,
because you were never around.
Well, that was later on. That was way later on. But when I was actually like making real efforts to show up to things, like, yeah, I don't think that I ever got annoyed with you guys.
Well, and to Nate's point too, in Overwatch, I've played with a very, very wide variety of fans and friends now, and I don't think that I've ever been annoyed with behavior. Some people have pointed out that when we're on losing streaks on stream, I get really quiet. When I think that there's no hope, because the people I'm playing with, Zenless Heart Slot, are just so bad that there's nothing we can do to turn it around, I think I just get down on myself because I'm like, there's nothing we can do. We're just losers.
Did you try yelling at them before?
No, I didn't.
You should try that.
I feel like the only time that I actually do yell at people is if I'm on stream and therefore kind of in character. So it's kind of expected of me. You know what I mean?
People do show up just to watch you melt down.
Well, but the thing is that a lot of times, you know, if we're doing like,
you should just go all Mr. Rogers one day.
But if we're doing like an 18-man, you know what I mean? Like, there's like the chance that people are listening is very minimal. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not putting that shit into chat. I'm not being like, you specifically are fucking terrible. It's just like I'm bitchy in general. But that's kind of the salty character, right? Like, that's why people come to the stream. And so, like, I think that's why I have like a bit of a split opinion on it, because I appreciate trash talk, and I appreciate getting all salty and angry, because I do it all the fucking time. But at the same time, like, it does get a bit overbearing and abrasive. And when it's about you, then it's just like, ugh.
See, that's why earlier I talked about like how there is a line, and it is a very fine line, right? Let's go back to XQC's comment, right? If at the end, why don't you just fuck off and go over there? Had he said, because the next time that I see you and I'm not on the sideline, we'll see who's getting rolled and smoked, would there have been any issue whatsoever?
Well, and again, you know, I think
sounds like a personal threat.
To Piggy's point in the chat, you know, yelling in voice chat really doesn't solve anything.
No, they just yell back.
And again, if I'm on stream and I'm complaining about someone, I'm not complaining down voice chat to them. Right? Like, I don't expect them to come seek out my stream and get tips about their fucking performance. What I'm doing is just playing up the fucking annoyance for the camera, or else you have to, like someone said, be Mr. Rogers with it and be like, oh, well, that loss doesn't mean much. We're gonna
that would be so funny.
You know, like, it would be stupid. No one would buy it. No one would believe it. No one would believe it. But the thing is that there's a difference between doing that on a stream where you're performing for people, and there's a difference between that and projecting it at people in a very, like, in a way that you've got to own. Anyway, Zeldoria, thank you very much for the call. Appreciate it. That's all we got time for, really. I know Skuro's on the line, but we've got 2 minutes.
I kind of want to know why.
Got 2 minutes, Skuro. Come on.
Unmute yourself, moron.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, there we go.
Jesus. I really hope
I'm
that
using the mobile version, man. It's hard.
I really hope that you did the Checkpoint podcast for this week because I have not even.
You're going to the Lion's Den now.
Pretty sure.
Oh,
Anyway, what are
pretty
you
sure.
calling for?
What the fuck do you want?
Okay, anyway. Yeah, no, like, I mean, I totally agree with this talk about, like, the toxic talk. That's fine, you know. I'm just saying, like, you know, when you get someone that is blatantly, like, being a dick towards you, like, in-game, it's hard to, like, kind of keep that shit in.
Okay, what does it solve yelling at them? Because if they're already blatantly being a dick, yelling at them isn't going to stop anything. In fact, what it's probably going to do is bring down the morale of the other 4 people who are actually trying.
And that's why I will say, like, usually, like, I just try to kind of keep it, like, after a match. Because, you know, of course, like, there's times where, like, even the biggest dick is going to be like, you know what? This team's actually kind of fucking trying. Maybe I'll actually grow a little bit of a heart and actually try to swing this. But then there's a point where basically, like, a dude's picking, like, the most inefficient pick, not really doing anything with it, has gone 2 fucking rounds in that shit, and is locking that motherfucker in, and literally just not even in comms. You know, to be honest, sometimes it feels good to at least kind of vent it out that, you know, I'm essentially going to eat this loss anyway. So I kind of want to get something out on it, you know?
Listen, man, unless someone in voice chat is sitting there going, "You fucking suck," you're like, I'm not gonna be that guy.
Especially if you
I'm not gonna be that guy to
you can vent it at, or people in
exactly.
Discord you can vent with.
Exactly. Anyway, Scarl, we're out of time. We gotta let you go. Did you? Okay. All right. There we go. Thank you guys for the calls. We appreciate it. We love hearing from you. It's actually a much more interesting show when we're hearing from you guys and getting calls. Yeah. So thank you to Meterman, Piggy, Zeldoria, and of course Skuro getting his final words there in at the end. That's going to do it this week for Final Encountercast. Remember, there is only 5 episodes left of Final Encountercast. If you want to check out the full archive of the show, finalencountercast.com is where you can do that. Hit the follow button, follow the channel, come back on Sundays, catch the last 5 episodes, and then the show is going to become the Let's Be Real podcast. So anyway, thank you guys for tuning in today. Coming up next, we got the Checkpoint Radio podcast here on the live stream. Stick around for that. And then, of course, at 4 p.m. is Limit Break Radio. That's going to be it. I want to thank my crew, Nika, even though she's not here, being sick, having babies. I don't know. Are they sick babies? Something like that. But for those that did show up, Cake and Robbie, I'm Nate. Keep listening. Final Encountercast is a production of finalencountercast.com, Limit Break Radio, and Bender Media Productions. Today's episode was produced by Nate Bender, Callie Sloan, and Kooky Persona. This show is made possible by the generous Patreon donors of the podcast Limit Break Radio. Opening music provided by Keyboard Kid. More info and music can be found at keyboardkid206.bandcamp.com. Closing music provided by Sobsy. For more info, visit sobsy.bandcamp.com. Final Encountercast and its hosts are solely responsible for its content.